then once my dog's been trained to do the drop, and I call them and drop them, what am I going to do after I drop them?
Back.
Exactly. What am I going to reinforce?
The back.
Yes. You guys are awesome. Yes. So it's that simple. Because if you don't reinforce the SOP on the effort, no matter if you taught the drop real nice and they're dropping in place, guess what happens? If you don't reinforce the backup part, they start getting a little sloppy, right? And it's one of those things that you can't take for granted. Okay. So, yes.
How do you reinforce? Okay, once that you call them and they let them drop, then you have a problem with the speed coming to the drop.
Okay, so figure that out on your own. How would you probably, can I ask you a question? Okay, yeah, speed off the drop as well.
Reinforce the recall.
And how would you do that?
Target.
Oh, you cheaters! No, it's something that you never stop doing.
We just did it yesterday.
Like if you were to drop a recall, 3 of them would be to the target. 1 would be a normal recall for your peace of mind, not for the dog's. You follow me? The only reason why you need to do a normal recall, the dog's already been taught. Okay, the dog's already been taught the behavior, right? So I'm telling her, the target needs to become like a normal part of dog's training. Once the exercise has been shaped, now we just need to maintain speed and attitude. So the target comes into play, right? So I do 2 recalls, you know, to become down, down, good girl, back down, good girl. See how I reinforce that, wasn't it nice? Soup come, she goes through. I do that exact same thing twice. The 3rd recall I do a normal recall, like rain recall, not for the dog. Why am I doing it? Yeah, because I'm like, oh, I don't do a normal one. She's not going to go to front. Yeah, right. Yeah. So if you do a normal recall, it's only for you. Okay? He can achieve like crazy, and all you're going to do is build great attitude. Okay? I mean, I'm talking like that's how you're going to train to drop a recall. You know, that's how I'm going to train Saucy. She's going to achieve the target more than she's going to front. The ratio's got to be greater. Okay?
Do you find the target, I mean, I've not used the target so much, but I've constantly done where you step through, you know, you step aside at last minute, throw through the knife.
I know, but that doesn't have no ring carryover because it's too much motion on your part. It's too much of like, you know, I mean, I want my dog to look at me just like I do in the ring, and they're coming in, and they're coming in focused. I mean, I can see the look on Saucy's face. She's running in, she's like, come on, come on, come on, because all I do is this. You know, she's not too much, this is just too much body motion, too much, it doesn't have ring carryover. You know,
This will work a lot better than you.
yeah, because it's the same picture that you get in the ring. You know, you're standing at him, exact same picture. You're not saying get it, you're not saying nothing. You just, the dog's running in, and his concentration is she gonna, is she gonna, is she gonna? That's what he's thinking. Whereas when you say get it, he doesn't have to think about it because you're already giving him so many cues ahead of time. You know, your arms coming up, your spread. I mean, it's like a big, you know what I mean? The dog doesn't have to think if he's going to achieve because you're already, basically he can be lazy because there's so much motion involved with that. I just, you know, people have done that for years and I see 0 ring carryover when I watch dogs. I mean, and my friends with border collies, they're really high drive. I watch and it doesn't change how they come in because there's no ring carryover to that. And so I monkeyed with it a little bit, and I see in the Soupy that I have great ring carryover. She came in, you know, running, wondering if I was going to do this, because it's so subtle. You know, it's not no big thing. If you have a little dog, doesn't Janine do this? Cute. Yeah, so anything, I mean, as far as I'm, like Saucy, as high drive as she is, I'm going to use the target for everything. Why not? I mean, what would be the negative part to using the target? I haven't found one yet. You guys see one? Because you're not, I mean, you can still work on your front finish because the dog achieves, you turn around and
look at this one.
And anytime if you do this, they still have the front. Yeah, I haven't found any downside to it yet. You know, yeah, it's, of course, you know, there's always some dog that does something, right? I think it's great because, like with the dogs yesterday, we get retrieve commitment because they know food's back behind them. And you throw the dumbbell and they're like, I don't think so. And you're like, yeah, I think so. And then they learn, oh, all I gotta do is get that and then I get this. Okay, I got this now. okay? So it makes for great commitment too. So let's go over how I teach the drop and recall. Have you guys, have all you guys been on my website to see Soupy's drop and recall? Have you guys seen that?
No.
So I mean, I'm wondering if do I really need to even demo the Soupy? I mean, you guys, yeah?
Yeah. I didn't say it.
Okay, I'll do that then, so you guys can see. Okay, my theory about how to teach a drop on recall is this. If they're thinking about going backwards, they're going to stop motion right away. That's my theory with it, right? So, and when I show my dogs, they don't go backwards. They just stop when I tell them to, because the going backwards would be like way above and beyond Call of Duty, which, you know, like I said, if dogs did that, we would all be 200s all the time. But they, you know, dogs don't have a way of doing that. So we'll do that. So, who has drop and recall problems? Okay, what's your problem?
He anticipates it.
The drop. Okay.
Down so I can see, sweetheart.
I mean, my solution to that would simply be the target. But how was he taught to drop? You don't remember?
Popping down.
So there was a lot of reinforcement for that. Yeah. So that's probably why you're doing it, because yeah, there's a lot of reinforcement for that, which is fine. I don't have a problem with that. But there is always a backlash that comes with teaching that way, which is fine. So now, yeah, if you do shorter recall than first with the target and just start. No, yeah, that would be fine. I think that would, because you need a negative followed by a positive, basically. I think that would help. Somebody else had a yes.
Well, with Tawny, that's her, when I leave her on the sit, that's where she'll do that little scooch. And her drop isn't bad, but it's not like, bam, drop.
Correct. So her drop isn't scoreable, but if you don't do something about it, it could possibly become scoreable at some point. So yeah, a simple solution. All that backup stuff is all you have to do.
Right, right.
Yeah, the sit back, and then you drop her, and then if you give her just the signal or a verbal, if I go down, she should go back down. Then you run and reinforce that.
Okay.
So you're basically, again, reinforcing the effort beyond the drop. So it's not going to make it better. You have to go back and reteach the whole thing, but it's not scoreable. So if it ain't broken, you know, why mess
But I
with it?
have to teach her to do the backup down first before I can incorporate it into the, right.
Yes,
right,
yes, yes.
Right.
But it's going to keep it how it is. It's not
Right.
going to get any worse.
Right.
And every single time she drives a drop on recall, she has to do a sit back, like you'll leave her.
Yeah,
you'll
because
turn,
when I show
you'll
her,
sit.
that's where I lose my points. She is awesome. But if I leave her like on the broad jump and she's a little nervous, or on the drop one recall, that's where she does that little scooch and I lose like 3 points on it.
Oh, I bet, yeah.
Yeah.
So this is interesting, because when I went back and retrained Soupy with all this jackpotting business, guess what she started to do? Yeah, I would leave her on something and she would, because I've increased her drive state with the